Hey guys, I'm going to show you the next stage of us making our traditional Mexican style piñata. So at this point, you should either have all of your colored cones attached to the ball, or you should have all of your white cones attached to the ball. So you got to choose either the colored or the white last time, and there's two different ways that we're going to do the next step based on which choice you made. So if you chose to do the colored cones, you don't need to cover this area because it's already colored and pretty. So what you're going to do is you're going to be just lining the edge here like this to cover the little cut parts where you attached it. This is also a great way to cover if you use tape on it, and it will look really pretty. I definitely recommend that you get a few colors and make a pattern. It could be a 2-color pattern, 3-color pattern, and kind of have a bunch already cut for yourself and ready to go. And then all that you're gonna do is you're gonna pick up one square, you're gonna kind of pinch it in the middle like that, and you're gonna put a little dot of glue, and you can do like a little line like that so you don't have to keep gluing and gluing and gluing, or if you're sharing, and then just give it a little press, hold it for a second, and then you can do your next color. So you would do this all the way around. You can keep it uniform throughout the entire thing, so you can have the same pattern on all of them. You can do all different patterns. You know, whatever goes with your design is totally fine. Once you are done outlining the edge of all of the cones, then you're gonna start to work your way in. So let's pretend that you finished outlining all of your cones. You would then start to, again, have little piles of colors that you want to use. Pinch, put some glue on an area, and same process of just pressing down and keeping it on there. Now, if you have a little door, well, you should all have a little door that we can open to put the candy in. Close it and just put enough on the door to cover it, but don't put so much on there that it winds up you know, making it so you can't close it. You also certainly don't want to accidentally glue the door shut. So that is how you would do the first step for our metallic cone ones, the colored ones. And then you would wind up just kind of filling all of that extra space. The white ones are going to be a little bit different, and this is going to give you a little bit more freedom with your design. You're going to want to cover the cones with fringy crepe paper. So there's two different ways you can do this. You can either, just slide this aside. So you want to get a piece maybe about 2 feet long to start. It doesn't matter if it's shorter or longer because it's all gonna kind of attach the same way anyway, just whatever you're comfortable working with. You can either use the fringing scissors that I have, if you like little tiny fringy cuts. I have noticed that with the finer crepe paper like this, you do get a really deckled kind of fringe. Make sure that you're leaving like 1/2 inch at the top. You don't want to go all the way up like this or have it like barely hanging on. Another option that you have to make the fringe, if you like working with traditional scissors, is you would just fold this over multiple times, and the paper is so light and thin that you can probably fold it like 4 or 5 times and you can still get the scissors easily through it. And then you would just snip, snip, snip. You could have them further apart or closer together depending on, you know, your design preference. Just make sure that you leave enough space at the top that you're not going, you know, like all the way up like this, because when you go to cover it, it will make it really difficult to do. So then what you're gonna do from there is start at the point of the cone. Do not start at the base. If you start at the base, you're going to wind up covering all of your fringe and it's just gonna look like a big clumpy mess. You have to start at the end of the cone. And you're just going to put a little bit of glue around the edge. Now, because this paper is so fine, you really only need a tiny bit of glue. It soaks right through. And you're gonna wrap around. Then you're going to add a little more glue. Now, I snipped my pieces shorter when I was showing the example of what not to do about cutting up too far. So I'm just working with smaller pieces. But if you had a large piece, you would just keep wrapping around and around. So you would repeat this until you get all the way down to the bottom. So you would just keep wrapping it completely around the entire thing with glue until it looked like this. Okay, so all the way around. Once you've gotten down to the base, you're gonna repeat the same step that I showed you in the first part, where you just make patterns with different colors around it. Oh, another thing that's really nice about doing this kind is you don't have to stick to just one color. You could do patterns of colors on here. You could do a gradient of colors. You could do a rainbow, whatever you want to do. So you would go all the way down, and then once you have done all of the outer edges of the cones, like the rings around the base, then you can start to fill it in. And this is our second to last step. So I just want to show you really quick just how to save anything that you worked on if you don't finish today, which you won't, to clean up. So let's say you cut a whole bunch of little squares. You're going to just gather them, keep them in a nice little stack. Don't just like crumple them up and throw them in there, because you're going to want to have them nice and organized for next time. Put them in a Ziploc bag. If you have any of these, just fold them and put them in. And then please write your name clearly on it. And then get a clothespin and just clothespin it onto the string part of your piñata. That way everything stays together. So have fun, take your time, and it's gonna come out great.